Hey guys, it's Scott. I'm here at Fourth World Comics, Smithtown, New York. My LCS, fantastic store. Everyone's hard at work putting out your books, so please come by. I leave signed stuff here all the time. Again, Fourth World Comics, they're like family to me. I just wanted to start by just saying a super quick thank you for all the incredibly kind words on Monday about the announcement we made at Best Jacket with our deal with Comixology and Dark Horse to put out 8 books over the next couple of years. In digital and in print. The goal with the deal, honestly, other than just kind of doing stuff that I love and I'm proud of with a bunch of co-creators that inspire me, in a way that would allow us to retain the rights and to work consistently on the books even in volatile times, was really to try new things and show ways in which print and digital can be synergistic. And we're going to try some cool stuff with the books, where some of the books digitally are going to come out in interesting new formats, serialized, coming out more rapidly than once a month. Books in print are going to come out, some of them single issue, some of them graphic novel, all depends on the sensibility of the book. So our goal is to do things for digital, really work for digital, for print, really work for print, and try something new. So again, really overwhelmed by the kind words, and everybody involved is really grateful. So thank you so much. A lot more on that over at our newly relaunched Best Jacket website, where we have a newsletter that I'm going to update every couple days and give you peeks of the books, all kinds of stuff. And if you're enjoying the teaching, that's where you should go and sign up, because I'm gonna put all of my teaching over there. I'm gonna do a big push really soon to do a more comprehensive class. You'll hear more about that soon. Really excited, but I have only a little bit of time today, so I'm just gonna do a super quick class, or craft tip actually. I'm going to use 2 books that I love, Locke and Key by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. Joe, I know Joe from a while back, and watching his ascent and the amazing things he was able to do, both in comics with this at IDW and then over with Hill House, just incredible. And also Monstrous from Image Comics, from Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. Incredible series. I think it's up to trade 6 or something now, but both really great long form stories to pick up, lose yourself in. So I was going to talk a little bit today. I got a couple questions about the difference between a cold open and a hook, because I've said, kind of used both terms. A cold open, as I was trying to explain before, sorry, I need coffee because it's, again, crazy week. A cold open is essentially a beginning that is designed to show you the stakes of the story. So it doesn't necessarily have to have an emotional component, but what it's doing is it's showing you how crazy the story is going to get, or how deep it goes into history, or how bad the villain is, or how dire things are going to get. All of that kind of stuff. It's kind of designed to rocket things forward or backwards, to say, oh my God, this is going to get nuts. And that buys you some capital with the reader to then slow it down, do the emotional groundwork, especially if it's an issue 1 for a series, of introducing your characters, getting people into the world, all of that stuff. A hook is slightly different. It's not something that necessarily deviates from the natural timeline of the story. It can happen right at the beginning of kind of the narrative, and then move forward. It's not something that jumps in time to somewhere else. But also the thing I'd say is that, and this is the big lesson, or the big takeaway, if you take one thing away from what I'm saying today, is that people often think of hooks as plot things, and there is a big plot component to it. They are things that kind of grab you. But the real key, the thing that hooks people in earnest, is the emotionality of that initial scene. It's letting people know where your character is in the kind of emotional arc they're going to be going through. So it's about presenting the conflict, presenting the ambition, presenting the fear or the hope, whatever it is that your character is struggling with, having that really be infused in there. I tried to do it, for example, in the beginning of American Vampire. You see these bodies, this poor young woman being dumped into in the desert into a pit of other bodies, and so that's the plot hook. But the emotional hook is all the narration there, where she's talking about wanting to be part of something bigger than herself. Similarly, Black Mirror, plot hook is kid has taken some kind of drug that allows him to kind of kill or crock out That's the mystery, right? That's the detective story. But the emotionality of it, which is the real hook, is Dick Grayson talking about the way in which his parents always saw Gotham, used a black pin in the map of places that the circus would travel to represent Gotham, and why that was. So similarly here, even like Monstrous is one of the strongest series on the stands. It's just such, I can't say enough good things about it. But just look at the first page. The first page alone is a hook, right? It's like, it took 3 years to find a name, another 2 years to find the person, and now I'm here. So, and then the dialogue running over this page is, ladies and gentlemen, we begin our evening with lot 819, arcanic, but with fully human appearance. 17 years old, virgin, bidding will start at 5 pieces of gold. So the plot hook is, what is happening? This young woman is being sold at auction, right? And she's got one arm and these kind of archaic symbols. There's all the, what is arcanic, but she looks human, so she's some kind of otherworldly creature. And the whole story of Micah Half-Wolf and everything in it this speaks to it, that she's both someone on a mission who's incredibly powerful and strong, and also someone who all these other people are kind of hunting. But emotionally, her narration there, right? What she's saying is, it took this long to get here, to get a name, and now here I am. The contrast between seeing her look vulnerable and the narration as though she's being preyed upon, and her sounding like the hunter who's there to do something, important to her. That's the hook of that page. That's what drew me in immediately, and was like the oscillation between seeing her as someone who everyone else sees as, an object that they're all bidding on, and her being like, oh, I'm here to do something. That was the hook. Even though on the surface, the hook is kind of the plot, the weirdness of the scene, the fact that we're in an otherworldly situation. So similarly, Lock and Key, okay? So Lock and Key, from page 1, Lock and Key has plot hooks, right? Welcome, house is creepy. Turn the page. From the very first panel, you're getting the plot, right? These two guys, they're knocking on the door. One has a gun, one has a hatchet. You know you're in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And by page 2, you see that they're murderers and that they're here to do terrible, terrible things, okay? That would be enough, like plot hook-wise. But what you get, the brilliance of it is, then you go to Tyler, and what he's narrating about looking in the water is, he wishes that there'd be an earthquake so he could go to Baja. He doesn't want to be at this place, at Key House, no matter what, right? He just wishes he was with his friends out in San Francisco. He wishes he's like, or more like, they'd send me to stay with my cousin Oren, who wallpapers his house, blah, 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 but at least he has a PS3. So he's seeing these other versions of himself. Then his little brother comes along, and then all of the action starts, right? And then boom, it time jumps to San Francisco post when his father was killed, and they're recovering from this big tragedy. But the idea is, the hook is, yes, you're in because you see there are, like, evil murderers coming to this family home, but you're really in because you can see the guilt that's going to come from Tyler, right? You're in because he's saying, man, I don't want to be here. Man, I wish I wasn't here. Man, I can't believe this is what I'm stuck with. And then he's going to lose his father in the next pages, and all of that guilt about, wanting to leave to go to San Francisco, and the funerals in San Francisco, and then coming back. All of that's going to create the big undertow of the series, the big pull of it that makes you want to read and read and read and read. So again, all I'm trying to say with this is, it's a fractional difference, but it's important. A cold open is really, really heavy on kind of plot, on stakes. It's about showing people how crazy the series is going to get, how deep it runs, how scary it's going to get, whatever it is, so that you have time to then build character. A hook moves within the natural timeline, as those stories do. They pick up from those scenes, right, and just keep going, with a scene that has tremendous plot barbs that makes you want to kind of keep reading. But the real thing that's magic about those, and a good plot hook, good hook in general, is that it has an emotional tether or emotional barb that gets you, that makes you start to understand, God, I want to keep reading, because the contrast between what I'm seeing in terms of the plot and what the character is going through internally, that's the real engine to keep people reading. It's always a relationship between those things. It's never just plot. It's always kind of emotion. It's always what the book is about. It's always those things that will make people fall in love with your series. So thank you again. If you like these, I'm going to be doing them in a big comprehensive way and coming up soon. But the place to learn about that and the place to find out more is going to be the newsletter over at Best Jacket. I'm going to be moving more of my social media over there. And thank you guys again. I can't tell you how grateful all of us at Best Jacket are for this week and everything. So you rock.